Hi, good morning, everybody. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. And in today's edition, we have Oyindamola with us, right? In case you guys don't know Oyindamola is the co-founder. No, she's not the co-founder, sorry. She's the founder. She's the founder of Accounting Job Up. She currently works as a technical specialist at Dangote. She's a piguma Bila when you see her. Okay. She's a chartered accountant and she's one of the very few people that I really respect in this accounting space. She has been doing a lot of amazing job helping people every day. Oyindamola, welcome on board. How are you feeling this morning?
Thank you, Petra. I'm doing well. I'm fine. How are you doing too as well?
I'm very well. Good to have you on the call this morning. Okay, so before I give you the mic and then delve into the tutorial and all of that, I just wanted to ask a question. So you have this page, you have this company that you run, Accounting Job Up, or should I say company or initiative that you run? I mean, the question that I have off the top of my head is, first of all, like, what brought about you creating Accounting Job Up? Is this something that you've always wanted to do, like while in school, or did you see a problem and try to solve it? Like, what exactly brought about the Accounting Job Up? How did it happen? Tell us the story.
Well, thank you, Perpetua. You're taking me down memory lane. So, what initially brought about Accounting Job Up? So, Accounting Job Up is in two aspects. So, we have the consults and we have the academy and the community. So, for the consults, what we do is, since we are talking about the academy, like the community. So, in 2019, 2020, while I was job hunting, so I was trying to look for a group where I only get accounting jobs. Like I always say, a lot of groups where customer service, WhatsApp group where there's customer service, technical video job vacancies, and I'm not like. So I'll if I want to look for accounting roles, I have to like search and screen through that WhatsApp page or WhatsApp group to check for. So I'll not use like accounting, accountants, finance to like pull out vacancies. So I was not like. Since this vacancy, I'm helping myself and my colleagues that they are looking for jobs, like accountants like me too. Why not create a WhatsApp group and put all of us there? So whenever any of us see vacancies, you can just trade it rather than having to forward to over 10 people that they are looking for a job. Why not put those 10 people on a group? So that's where the initiative came about. Then also my passion to see people employed, because I've been unemployed during the early months of 2019, and I knew how it felt because I was not opportune to be or to have the access to information I needed. So I stayed at home for 9 months after my service, doing nothing. Obviously, like if I had access to information the way people on the job and the community does now, it would have made it easier. So in 2020, 2021, late 2020, 2021, while I was actively job hunting, I saw a group where it's called Finance Community. So that's what really, really now brought Accounting Job Up to light. So what they do is they bring different finance professionals together in a group for a semester. And a semester is like 3 months. So they bring you together, they organize webinars, they post vacancies, you network and do a lot of things there. So it's not like instead of we having this thing 3 months in a year alone, why don't we have like a group that runs through the year? So that's where the initiative now came that, okay, let us keep Accounting Job Up for the entire year. We don't have to open new groups, close groups, end the semester. And let's just use this model of finance professionals. That's for the Covenant Nation. Let's use this initiative and do something like that. And the group has spiraled. Like the growth is very, very massive over the years. And people have come up with success stories too from the group. And it's something I'm really, really happy about because I don't want people to feel the pain I felt. So it's also a means of providing solution to the unemployment. We are just doing our own bit, even if it's just 2 people per month, 3 people per month that get job, but it has reduced the unemployment rate in the country, basically. So that's
really nice. That's really nice. On behalf of everybody, I'm just saying thank you once again. You're doing an amazing job. Okay, so one last question that I have. No, I have
Okay.
Tafia. Let me just ask one last question. Okay, how are you able to like juggle all of this with your work? So now I understand that aside the fact that you have accounting job as an initiative, you also have your own personal brand, which is the Oyindamola brand, right? How are you
Yes.
able? You feel like there's a lot on your plate. You're going for trainings. You also have like personal development things to do for yourself.
Yes.
You are also training for people. You are showing up on LinkedIn. You are showing up for your community. I mean, how are you? And again, you're married. How are you able to like put all of this together? How are you able to put all of this together? How are you able to do that?
So I will say I'm just trying to master time management. So
Hmm.
before LinkedIn, I schedule my posts. Obviously, like any inspiration that comes, I schedule. I already have my posts for next week that will run, even with or without my action or anything. That one is
Yeah.
there because I know the importance of LinkedIn, right? Then
Mm-hmm.
for the community, my job and married life, I have great support system. So for AGH Consult, we have a group of 10 people that are working behind the scenes to ensure that everything is running smoothly. So I'm not the
Mm-hmm.
one doing everything. So we have people in charge of
Okay.
posting vacancies. We have people in charge of CV reviews. We have people in charge of tax, audits, different parts. So the group is self-running. The communities are self-running in such a way that it
Hmm.
doesn't even need the involvement of any admin. It's only what admin just does is just to be like internal control, to be a police to the group, so that when you are not following the guidelines, and we ensure
Yeah.
that people just ensure that people are following the guidelines. People post vacancies themselves. When people even need somebody to replace them at their office, they post it on the group. So it's even easy for
Hmm.
people to get what's it called, placement easily on
Okay.
the group. So the group is self-running itself. So
Uh-huh.
it's just basically having a great support system too, and having for marriage, just having a partner that understands. Like, I'm just grateful to God, basically.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Yeah, thank you so
Yeah.
much for that as well. I mean, not just me, I'm sure a couple of people must have wondered as well how you are able to like manage everything like smoothly. So thank you once again for giving us an insight into this aspect of your lives. So now we can go into the tutorial. So guys, we're looking at 10 technical accounting interview question. Just a bit of background. I always feel like if you want to make any interview in 2024, it goes beyond having a good CV. If you have a
Yeah.
good CV and you've been sent an interview link, the only thing standing between yourself and that particular job is your interview and your negotiation skills. I mean, you could take the interview and not know how to negotiate and still do the job. But
Yeah.
our focus today is how to take your interview, especially the technical part, because this is where a lot of people flop. When it comes to all those generic ones, there are things that you could actually pick up on the internet, research about. But these
Yeah.
technical questions, and what we've done so far is we reached out to the community members and we gathered like 10 technical accounting interview questions, which Oyindamola would be helping us with this morning. So thank you once again, Oyindamola. Please, you have the floor.
Yes, thank you, Perpetua. Thank you. Good morning. Okay, Perpetua has already introduced myself basically. So I'll
Okay.
just be going on to. So today we're having. Okay, actually, I was able to combine it to 13, but I'll make sure I'm within the time. So the title of today's webinar is Technical Interview Questions for Accountants. So I've already tried to split the interview stages into what, because Perpetua already talked about it. Those HR preliminary stage, like tell me about yourself, all those
Mm-hmm.
basic questions, you can easily see it online. Then from the HR stage, you move to the technical stage. That is what we'll be
Yeah.
dealing with today. Then you have interview with senior management. That's when they ask to go and see MD or CED or see the management team
Mm-hmm.
basically. Then from that, HR will also come back again after you impress senior management. Come and talk about the discussion on pay, negotiation, and everything. I'll try to talk on negotiation too before I wrap up. Then
Yeah.
just basically, okay, I was trying to, I'll just quickly do a 2 minutes tell me about yourself. So this stage of tell me about yourself is where you set the precedence for how you want the interview to go. So when you are doing the technical stage, they will also ask you this tell me about yourself, or run me through your work experience basically. So what you do is whatever you say in this tell me about yourself or run me through your work experience will determine how the rest of the interview will go. Because if you mention tax, if you mention accounting, if you mention internal control, so I've been in a situation. I think over my professional career, I've attended nothing less than 30 interviews, so I have a
Wow.
background knowledge of this. Job hunting is a job on its own.
I know, right?
Like, it's a full-time job on its own, right?
I know.
I remember one interview I went. So when they were saying, tell me about yourself, I had to mention internal control. They now asked me to list what is internal control and list the components of internal control. My God, I was kaloloing. So it depends on what. So one thing I've been trying to do is I try to tilt towards my strengths. I focus on only things. So when you ask me questions on financial report, when I talk on financial reporting, I can talk a little bit on audit, but I move more to financial reporting so that I know that last you go and bring on IFRS that I don't know. But at least the basic IFRS I can do it. So now if you're asked to tell me about yourself, so it should go something like this. Good morning, everybody, or good morning. If you know their names, you can call them. Good morning, my name is Oyindamola Adeleye. I'm a finance professional with over 5 years experience, and I've worked in different industries such as FMCG, e-commerce. I've also worked in interior design, interior facilities. Like you just mentioned the industry so that they will know that you have a wide range of industry. Then also you now move on to over the years in my career, I've been opportune to work to do financial reporting. I've been doing reconciliation, accounting. So it depends on the role. Then you talk about what your strength is, because after you talk about that, the things you can do, that's when they will now ask you based on what you said that, okay, you said you can do financial reporting. Run me through how you prepare your financial report per month. Okay, you said you can do financial analysis. Tell me how you do your financial analysis for board presentation and the like. So it's what you say at this tell me about yourself stage that will now determine how they will ask you, except if they already have like a rundown questions they want to ask. But most times, most technical questions, they flow with what you said, and they'll ask you questions based on what you've already said. That okay, I cannot tell you that I'm good in financial reporting, then you ask me a question on tax. See, when it comes to tax matters, I don't even bother myself. Me perpetual for tax matters. I don't bother myself. Like, because tax is, you have to keep updating yourself for tax, right?
Exactly.
And me, what I do basically is financial reporting. Once I know my IFRS, how to apply it, I'm good. So let me not now throw myself into the waters. Then I gotta mention audit. They will now ask you, okay, run me through your internal audit process. And I've never seen what internal audit has done before. You get so most times you tilt towards your strength. The things you know that when anything they ask you on it, you can kill the interview. So that first impression you make for them at that tell me about yourself stage is just what determines how the rest of the interview will go. So Perpetua, for the next stage, like if I just read the question, you will do like later.
Okay. So for the first question that we have, can you detail your experience in preparing month-end reports and your familiarity with the financial closing process?
Okay, so thank you for this question. So as an accountant, what I do in my current workplace, so they want to know what you do, right? So you tell them, run them through the process. Okay, we gather data from all departments. We ensure that we give them a deadline that on or before 3rd or 4th. Like, just run them through what you do. Like on or before 3rd and 4th of the month, we give every department a deadline to submit their reports. Then when it comes to finance, we collate it. We ensure that bank reconciliation is done. We consolidate all our data from all departments. We reconcile it. We do bank reconciliation and we check for variances. Like here, you just run them through how you do it. That okay, they might now ask you here that okay, when a particular department does not meet up with the time, what do you do? So this kind of question will be like, okay, we go and meet them to find out what the challenges are. Like, just make it as practical as possible. When it comes to technical interviews, just make it as practical as possible. So for the financial closing period, what we ensure in my company is that on the 5th, management reports are ready. Even the accountant on the interview panel will be like, wow. So when you come here, you can still incorporate this, right? So just run them through your experience in preparing monthly report. Okay, we collect our data, all our postings, we ensure that all journals have been posted, prepayment schedules, accruals, everything has been done. Our amortization schedule is up to date. Just be giving them the right terminologies and we are fine, right? So I'll be moving on to the next question. Perpetua, is this method I'm using fine?
Yes, it is.
All right, thank you.
Okay, so the second question that we have is, Is internal control different from internal control systems? If yes, explain. If no, explain.
So the answer is actually yes. Internal control is the whole system of control that is put in place, or let me use the whole system of procedures, the whole system of measures, like anything the company has put in place to ensure that the assets are safeguarded and to ensure that everything is working well. So internal control is even beyond finance. So I also like to come into the fact that difference between internal control and audit. Internal control is just like a specific, so internal control may be like doing bank reconciliation, right? But internal control system is the entire system. So a lot of things that you need to do to ensure that everything is in compliance, basically. So most people are also confused about internal control and internal audit. Internal audit tilts more to the financial aspects, but internal control also encompasses both financial and other parts, the non-financial part of the system. So internal control is more of measures, procedures, policies, like putting things in place to ensure that nothing goes wrong. But internal audit is more like just finance, to ensure that our books are right, we are complying with IFRS, doing a lot of things.
Next question. Thank you.
All right.
The major reason we are employing you is because we have too many customers owing us, and it's really affecting our business. How can you help us manage our account receivables and optimize cash flow for the company?
Okay, thank you for that question. So for this particular question now, for instance, you mentioned FMCG. If this were to be an FMCG interview, I'll just be like, okay, the current ratio for FMCG, that's their current liability to current assets, their current assets to current liability, right? So it is this starting. So in the FMCG, you should not go beyond this. And we know that account receivable too and inventory are like the major things that make up current assets. Exactly. So what we'll try to do is to ensure that our money are not stuck with customers. So what things are we putting in place? So we'll try to give customers discounts. We'll try to do a lot of things to encourage them to pay quickly. So we may give them terms such as when you pay 10%, and when you pay in the first month, we give you 20%. When you pay in the second month, we give you 10%. So the earlier they pay, the higher their discount of paying, right? So we give them discounts. We do a lot of things to entice them to come and pay. Then also we can also do other promotional things that when you come to pay, we may give you extra items of what you bought. Like just ensure that you are doing things to nobody wants to lose money. Nobody likes debit alerts, basically.
Yeah.
But as a company that you have stock and you know that your money is tied down with your customers, and if they don't pay, you cannot replenish your stock. So you just, and one of the things, you have to be very offensive with this. So let me say you have to be on the offensive side. Don't be defensive about it. Don't just sit back and call. If it's something you have to do, to call them. I know this is not the job of an accountant. Like this is the job of an account receivable officer. So if you have been employed as an accountant and you still have to do account receivable, you have to go out of your scope and call them that hello, how are you? They're following up to, like you must communicate with them. What's the challenge? What's going on? Is it that you cannot pay? Some people, they may even have small. They may feel like, maybe out of 100K, I just have 10K. Let them even first pay that 10K to reduce their debt, right? Yeah. So you communicate with them. Why are you having this issue? What's the matter? Is our pricing too high? We can give you discounts when you pay. Even the economy is not smiling, and a lot of people, maybe when they bought it, they were financially buoyant. But now dollars have scattered all their finances and all. So you call to find out, because business is more of relationship than what the activities, basically. So you develop a relationship with them that even when they come the next time, okay, yes, you've paid parts, we can give you this. So you develop that relationship with them. Just communicate with them. Also, your invoicing, you should be up to date on your invoicing, like recording your invoicing. That's where account receivables schedule come into play. Like your aging receivables should be up. You should use it to track. So if you are lucky to get like a software, an accounting software that can help you track these things, is fine. If you don't have, you can use Excel to track it and put some formulas in place to ensure that when it's going below 30 days, it should alert you. When it's going below 60 days, it should alert you. When it's going beyond 100 days, it should alert you. And also there should be regular updates of so there should be audits of your account receivables, so we know when one falls into bad debt, that we don't still carry these things in our book. We can just record it as a bad debt and move on. We just carry it as an expense. move on to the next thing. So it's just number one, effective credit policies like discounts, clear communication with your customers, clear payment terms, tracking your invoices, tracking payments, and also too with tracking payment. Some customers, they may not even put the narration. So you need to. That's why this communication is very important. You need to call them. Some will even pay, they will not tell you anything. Now when you now call them, didn't they tell you that I paid on it?
Yes.
Some customers are very funny.
And they will get really rude with you because it's irritating. Why are you calling me half paid? Come
Why
on.
you calling me half paid? And it's very annoying because even for you, if you paid for something and they are calling you to pay back, it does not make sense. So now you need to call that, okay, or do reconciliation with your, if you are not the one in charge of the bank statement, get the bank statement, do a reconciliation, tie everything together and make sure that everything is on track, basically. By that, so you are being a valuable member of the finance team if your role is only account receivable. But if you're also an accountant and an account receivable, you just have to go outside the scope and do beyond what you've been employed for. Thank you.
Thank you. I think before we move on to the next question, I just wanted to add something. So what you said about that phone call, it really resonates with me because I remember I worked in a startup, where a startup company, they just have one accountant. You are the one in charge of payables, in charge of receivables, everything. And I remember that I had to bring myself out of my comfort zone and start developing relationship with the accountant of our clients. Just be friendly with them. That please now, I know you have a lot of invoices to settle. Please prioritize our own.
Please prioritize sincerely, yes.
Just anything, just do what you have to do, just to make sure that they are paying you. Because if you like, send them harassing emails like 3 times a day. If you're not being nice about it, they'll not. You understand? They are messy.
You can even send the accountant 1,000 naira credit. You should know that you want to meet your goal. You get
exactly. I'm telling you. And another thing that we used to do at the multinational that I was working then is we actually have credit limits. There are some people that over time you just know their capacity. If you notice that there's someone that they are always defaulting whenever they buy on credit, it might just be because they don't have the capacity for that thing they're buying on credit.
Next time, don't give them
that much. So based on your precedent, based on how you the kind of business you've done with us in the past, we'll say that the highest credit limit that you can get is 500,000. If you want to buy anything that is 1 million naira, you must pay 500,000 naira cash, and we'll give you the remaining 500,000 naira on credit. So with this kind of policy that we had in place, it was like the issues of dragging somebody. They'll say, sorry, it's only 100,000 I have now out of 10 million naira. It really reduced because we're giving people credit based on what they can pay up per time. So thank you so much for that question. I just wanted to add a bit to it. So we can move on to the next one.
Yes, so let me quickly add to what you said. So I think these loan companies too can take a cue from this. This one, because majorly what they do is account receivable. You cannot just be calling people because I'm on their contact that somebody is owing money. You need to check the person's credit score. You need to check the person's credit worthiness. I really feel like there's something the Nigerian government should do about it. Maybe credit bureaus should even publish people that are not credit worthy so that these loan companies will not be giving them. And you not be giving the accountant issued. Accountant that you as accountant, you turn the person to account receivable, loan shark, to be calling people up and down for recovering loans.
I really don't envy their customer people or customer service or whoever is in charge of calling people. It's really not a nice job to do.
Then you now start causing people, putting out obituary and
no. I think they can do better. They can do better actually. Right. Okay, thank you for that. So let's move on to the next question. Differences between discounts and rebates.
All right. So discounts, they are like a reduction in the selling price. So discount can either be cash discount or trade discount. So if you see rebate on the other hand, like what is on my slide here, are refunds or discount after sale. Discount is given before sale to encourage the person to buy more or to encourage the person to pay on time. But rebates, maybe because of the relationship you have over time that okay, after you've sold it, then you can just appreciate them. Oh, take this extra, right? It's not, you're not discounting, but it's just things like promotional items you give to them to just ensure that sales relationship still exists. So it's like what you said earlier, you mentioned credit limit, like what they've got. If you see that this person has been consistently paying, So on the next one, you can just give them like maybe 10 extra items or something. So that's
Yeah.
rebate. Discount tilts towards reduction of percentage in either the selling price, or like you just try to like reduce the amount that they will actually pay on what they are getting. So I think rebates even tilts more to like trade discount. Then for this discount here is more like cash reduction basically. So I guess
I
that's
think that
different.
rebate is more because I had a client. When I say a client, I
Yes.
had somebody reach out to me one time. He has a business where he buys drinks from these Coca-Cola companies,
Okay.
and you realize that the amount they actually sell to them is like almost the same what they sell to us, but what they get and how they make their money is from rebates. So if you buy one trailer or one truck of Coca-Cola or of Coke, they will give you a rebate. So it is from that rebate you will get your money. The gain on that truck, on that one truck of Coke that you bought, it might not be more than 200,000 or 100,000. That's not really good money compared to the capital. But the rebate that you will get, that one truck that you bought, is where you actually make your own money. So I think when it comes to all this agency thing as well, like you're an agent for a company, sometimes they don't reduce their price for you, but how you make your own money as an agent is through rebates. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Let's go to the next question. How do you account for PPE, asset disposal, asset held for sale, and discontinued operations, etc.? Okay.
All right. So for this, you must know you must know all the accounting standards that relate to this. So you must know that PPE is IAS 16. Like you must know the standards that relate to assets held for sale and how they'll be treated. Assets held in discontinued, that will be assets for discontinued operations, right? So like what I wrote here, flaunt your IAS like IFRS skills. So now you'll be talking about like 3 different IASs in this space, or IFRS basically. The one that relates to PPE, you can quickly run them through how recognition, criteria, measurements, and all those things. Like let them know that you have knowledge of these things. So and you can also give them practical aspect, probably in your previous company. Okay, this was how we treated assets held for sale in my previous role. It will not even be your current company. It may be where you worked or something you've treated over time. Okay, in discontinued operations, this is the way we treat assets, this is the way we do it, and also in line with the right IFRS or IAS. So you have to flaunt it. If it's mention all the IAS that relates to the question at hand, like is it bamboozle them with it, like bobo them, but you should know that you are boboing with the right information, not that you are using the the wrong thing. So I'm not gonna mention IAS 2 for asset disposal. I think before it was IFRS 17 and was it 9? I know it was leases and financial instruments. I always mix them up together. So I think there was one interview I went.
IFRS 17 is the lease.
Then they asked me, I had to mention leases for God, I beg. What just saved me was after I was done with that interview. So one thing you do, this is just by the way, right? One thing you do after interviews, when you don't meet up, I know you've exerted time, resources have been expended on going for these interviews, or even data set for the interview, and your time, the most important thing. So what I do after interviews, because I remember in early 2020s when I was going for interviews, like I still said, this tax thing was still an issue. So when I came back from that interview, I was so dejected. So what I did was I paused going for interviews. So I have to go and work on those areas of weaknesses while still building my strengths. So you focus on your strengths, then build on your area of weaknesses. So I started reading about tax, payee, looking through PwC tax, this tax thing that they always put out all the time. Just update myself so that when I go next, it won't be. So one thing I now told myself that and the next interview I'm going for, it won't be because of my lack of knowledge or because of me, anything from my part. So it's anything that is happening for me not to get that job is from them, it's not from me, basically. So just ensure that we keep updating our knowledge, attending webinars like this, like joining groups, like the community that Perpetua created for us for the accounting and tax group, like all those kind of groups to help. Like you're just learning, peer-to-peer learning from your colleagues, learning from senior people, things that you don't even do at your office. You can learn it on those kind of
exactly.
So we'll be moving to the next question. Thank
you so much for that. Okay. Question 6. My company's HMO plan expired in October 2023, and we continue to benefit from it until we renew in December 2023. How do I treat the posting? Is there anything like accrued expenses here? Note, our subscription duration is every 6 months. Okay.
Yes, thank you for that question. So what I do, I don't know, Perpetua, have you ever attended an interview that you took pen and jotter along?
I have.
See, that thing is another set of bobo on its own. There's no, when I know that it's not like the HR interview that tell me about yourself, salary level, all those HR questions. When I know I'm going for technical question, the first place I ever did it, the man said, "Don't worry, we are giving you this job." Because it was like debit credit, so they will ask you to do that, and you cannot do debit and credit from your head. It's not even if you know it, it can be confusing. So the man was telling me that, okay, we just bought an asset of credit. Tell me the account I'll debit. I don't know when I brought my jotter and my pen out. The man was so impressed. Like, so this kind of question, now, you know, you have to do calculation. Basically, you give them figures. Like now, okay, we renew our HMO cost and we pay is in accrual. This. So he said it has expired, but we continue to benefit it. So you know that this is an accrued expense.
Exactly.
Then you have to, and the law of there's this. I'm trying to remember. Perpetua, I don't know if the one that says expense for the period must match that period. Then
matching
the income
concept.
for that, yes, matching concept. So you ensure that you are not giving October, November, December's expense to January. So the one that belongs to October, you accrue it in October. Even if you've not paid, you put it in the profit or loss account. The one for November, so like now, let's say you pay 600,000 for your total staff. Then that's for every 6 months. You divide that 600,000 by 6. So you know that from July we have 100,000. That's, I'm backdating it now. So from July to December, 100,000. Then when they now ask you to do the debit and credit. So for this now, you must ensure that you have a schedule on ground for your accruals. You have a schedule on ground for your prepayment. So you know that, okay, this thing has lapsed. We've overpaid. We've not paid. So that's where the importance of keeping schedule is. Right, then you'll be able to track, okay, we paid in October for which period, or was it we paid for period you've already enjoyed or want to pay in advance. So it's very important when you go for interviews, take your pen, take your jotter along. It gives you this form of seriousness, right? Like when you go for all these kind of things, it just place you higher than other. Yeah, it's just perception basically. So thank you.
So let me just add to this as well. So this question, I feel like it's one of those very dicey questions. If they ask you this in an interview, they are trying to see how you think. Now this question has both accruals and it has prepayment. Although I've done a tutorial on prepayment, which I feel like everybody on this group should have watched and all, but I've not really done the accrual part. So the first part of this question is, you know that you pay for 6 months and then your something expired in October. It means that you have to pay for November, December, January, February, and March, April. The next time you are paying, you have to pay from November till April. Now, for November and December, you had not paid, but you enjoyed it. So what you would have done then in November, you debit your expense and credit accruals. In December as well, debit your expense, credit accruals. Now, by the end of December, when you are paying, let's say the amount we're talking about here is 600,000, it means you've accrued 200,000 naira. December, you are paying 600,000, which is for the entire 6 months, but you've only enjoyed 200,000. So first of all, by the time you're making that payment, let's say you paid 600,000, you do a bank movement between your accruals and your bank to write off that 200,000 that you've used in the past. Now, you have 400,000 naira left. That 400,000 that you have left is for period that you are yet to enjoy. So you put that 400,000 naira in your prepayment account, and then the double entry every month from January to April will now debit your expense and credit your prepaid expense. So I hope that explains it. Okay, thank you so much, Oyindamola.
Hi guys, thank you so much for watching the tutorial up till this point. I am very, very sure that you're getting value. Like, this has been one of the very eye-opening tutorial that we've had so far. Thank you so much once again. I just wanted to plead with you to say that I beg, be cool, help me click on that like button, help me click on the subscribe button, help me comment on this particular video. It is free of charge. Subscribing is free of charge, liking is free of charge, commenting is free of charge, and all of these things are just your own little way of saying thank you for the effort that we put into making these videos. So please, I'm waiting. Just go ahead and like, go ahead and comment, go ahead and subscribe to our channel if you are yet to do so. I'm waiting. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much for your support always. Let's get right back into the tutorial.
All right.
Let's have the next question.
Yeah.
How do you ensure compliance with accounting standards and internal control within the finance function? Can you share an example of a situation where you had to address a compliance issue? This is interesting.
So this one, you have to give them. So now, how I address or how I ensure compliance with the accounting standards is I keep myself updated with accounting standards. So I attend webinars, I read. I'm currently writing my ICANN, and in FR, knowing your IASs, knowing your accounting standards are very important. Are very, very important for you to pass. Important criteria for you to pass your exam. So I've been updating myself through this knowledge. So at the office, I try to apply this and see where we are deviating from it. So there was a time in my office where we treated PPE, but it was treated like a revenue. Like they just entered it like no, we treated it like an expense.
Like an expense.
So, no, I'm just giving like an example of what happened. Like it's just like it's not a real life scenario, but I'm just trying to paint something for them. Like you must give them an actual scenario that okay, we treated it like an expense, but we have to go and check the capitalization policy, and capitalization policy is part of internal control procedures too, because what it says is when do we record this thing as an asset, right? Like when, so some people's capitalization policy, depending on their industry or depending on the company, maybe 50,000, any expense above 50,000 for assets, you capitalize it. Maybe 100,000 is maybe 200,000. So I try to put those. So I had to go back to our internal control policies. I had to check through our policies, our procedures that was created by internal audit to check and ensure that we're not deviating from it. Also, at a point, I had to discuss with our internal audit manager to see from his own perspective, other than from the finance position, right? To get two differing positions on it and see how we can ensure that okay, we are in compliance to accounting standards and internal control. Also, to over weekly, over the days, like for daily activities, we ensure that we abide by accounting standards by also checking within the team to brainstorm with other colleagues that are ahead of us to get the right application for our transactions, basically. So it's just to basically give them something. So it's not as if you've not experienced it before. And we always say accounting is 100% experience. So let me say 80% experience. They will hire somebody with experience over somebody that has the certification. Basically,
exactly.
In most instances.
Exactly. So there's this thing that I always tell people. I think one of the mistakes that people make is when they get asked this particular question, like tell us an example of this situation. Most time people think that it really must have happened to them for them to say.
Really.
They will just say, I'm sorry, I've never been in that situation before. That's the easiest thing for you to. You will not just cook up something, like even the interviewer does not expect that. I mean, most
he
times
does not know if you're saying the truth. Yes, sir, he does not know if that thing actually happened or not, but at least just to see your knowledge.
So most times don't say because, and this is very, very it's very common among young graduates, like new graduates. Like when you go for interviews and they ask you this thing in your mind, you're like,
I don't know.
I don't have any experience now. Where will I get this scenario from? So in your head, like simulate and permulate all those things you heard before you even go for interview. So by the time you are thrown on the spot, you can easily quickly cook up something and give to them.
Exactly. Like the example I gave now, I just cooked it up. I think Professor was saying yes. I just had to tell you that disclaimer, it didn't happen, no. Just
I understand.
So anybody can make mistakes, basically. So we'll move on to the next question.
Yeah, thank you very much. So the next one is, our former accountant did not keep proper records of financials, and we've not been able to produce accurate reports for the past 1 year that we commenced business. Is there anything you can do to help the company get proper accounting records?
Wow, thank you so much. I experienced this at my first ever job I worked. So what I did was I had to ask for the bank statement for the last 1 year to see what was expended and what came in, inflows and outflow. Then I also asked for receipts for some assets. Then I had to do a list of asset verification to check in line with, and I also checked if the bank statement was has the proper narrations of outflow and inflows. So I did an audit of the bank statements and some incomplete record they had. I was able to do a sales report. I was able to do an expense report. I was also able to list out some assets based on the source document I was able to get from the cashier. Then also too, I was able to do an asset verification to tie the expense in the bank statement with the asset I'm seeing physically. So that was what I was able to do to ensure. Then I started ensuring that the cashier was sending daily sales reports from the time I joined, so that we can now start prepare. We can now have an accurate sales position for year end, and also we had to tell the assistant accountant to be keeping daily record of petty cash, and also we have to inform the CEO. This is like a small business. We also have to tell the CEO to be properly narrating outflows, transactions from the bank going forward with the right narration, and to ensure that they are supporting documents for all these expenses. That cannot just be making payments without, the way small businesses are. Cannot just be making payments without supporting document or without approval. You are the master approver. You are the approval of your company, but it is that you'll be supporting documents, so that when auditors come around, we'll be able to present something very tangible to them. Then also I tried to ensure that we had schedules for prepayment, because I was able to have an interview. I interviewed the CEO. So let me say I had a discussion, a meeting with the key stakeholders, the CFO, the CEO, to find out, okay, what has happened in the last 1 year. So I can make sense of the financial statement I want to produce. So I was able to get not totally 100% accurate position, but I was able to achieve an 80% success rate in reporting what happened in the year I was not around for that 1 year period. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I think you did great justice to that. Thank you so much. So we can move to the next question. Okay, as a branch accountant, salary is paid by the head office. How do you record it in your books?
Okay, let me bring this to where I work currently. So at Dangote, we have I can't count the number of subsidiaries we have actually. So sometimes the head office makes payment on behalf of other business units. So we call our subsidiaries business units. So what we do is those expenses will be apportioned based on, so they have some apportioned criteria they use, probably based on sales volume, probably based on, so for salary now, it's to be based on the number of employees they have. Like, okay, what's the total amount of salary we are paying? What are the total numbers? So there will be a pay schedule that is on ground, like your salary schedule basically. So that's what will determine how much you are apportioning to one subsidiary, how much you are apportioning. So you definitely have an intercompany transaction basically. Then you have a major expense account for the group, then some subsidiary salary expense account. Probably say expense account for this one. Probably you can say this salary account for cement, salary account for salt, salary account for sugar, and different things like that. But you definitely know that your trial balance will be loaded definitely with different sub accounts under some major components in the trial balance. Yeah. Thank you. Okay. Then over time you get to do reconciliations of expenses between the branch and the head office. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much for that. We're making good progress. Question 10, is entering transaction on an accounting software the only thing accountants do in a company?
So most people this is where they underrate us. They don't rate us. So they feel like, I think most companies are employing accountants, this is the only thing they have in their head. And this is like the job of an account officer, not an accountant. So most people don't differentiate between the role of an accountant and an account officer. Account officer is still doing the preliminaries, posting entries on journals, entering transactions on accounting software. An accountant now goes to so the time you become an accountant is when you start preparing financial statements. That's what differentiates you from an account. So you're not even a bookkeeper. So sometimes they can even employ a cashier, can do the work that they employ to do. So most times they always say that, why should I employ an accountant that will just give me if it's not to be posting. See, I hate that in my life. Is it not to be posting? You come and post it. So they don't see the end journey, because these postings we are doing, at the end goal is to present something. And what are those things? The final output of all our inputs of our postings, journals, schedules, and everything is to prepare a financial statement, our statement of profit or loss and other income, our statement of financial position, and our statement of cash flow. So these are the things that the management will use to make decisions, and also management accounts too. These are what they will use to make decisions. So that's what an accountant does. So now entering transaction is like the let's say 1 out of 100 of the things you do as an accountant. That's if you don't have an account officer that are the major accountant there. Entering that transaction is just it's just like data collation, basically, like you're collecting data. So now that's why most companies just see us as if, what are we doing? Is it not only to post that? So posting transactions or keeping data are just like doing what a bookkeeper can do. You can train somebody that went through SSC to post on accounting software, but it's just that you need to distinguish yourself as an accountant. Like that's when you now start doing financial analysis, like you start advising. So you also become a finance business partner. This particular finance business partner, I didn't know the name until like last year, because I was doing it at the first place I worked. So I usually prepare budgets with my CEO. Then it was a small startup. I'll prepare budgets. I'll advise that, okay, let's take on this next job, because I was working in the mall then. I advised that, okay, because our marketers to advise we should take this next job, we can do it. Okay, we've already scouted around. So it's even beyond finance roles. You can also come into like, oh, our competitor is doing this. They may not even see it. That is something. So our competitor is doing this. We can tweak it and make it better for our customers. Okay, I saw that this person, they appreciated all their customers this year. Plus, we can throw a ball, we can do a party for, like just think, and don't only think about expense, because those men, I say those CEOs, they're already thinking, one daddy, money is going out, debit alert, debit alert. So you should also think of things that can bring I'm thinking of this new business development initiative where we can invite marketers in, we'll give them commission, but they will bring sales. Like, just think of things that beyond finance, because after accounting is backward thinking. So that's what differentiates us from finance. Like, once you are done with the statement, it's just for the CEO the management to just check, okay, let's make a decision. But from that past thing that happened in the past, the activities that happen, you can also project to the future that, okay, our sales can grow to this level if we do this. You can put measures in place to ensure that we are reducing our expense. Okay, how is this dollar affecting us? Okay, maybe we should start saving in dollar. We should start keeping our money in a domiciliary account. Like, just say it. Some people may be scared that if I say it, what do they think? So this is one of the challenges I'm facing to currently, because there, it was just directly with the CEO. I had a direct. But now, because of how large it is, it's making me a bit later. But I think once I understand the entire process, I'll be able to advise more. But at that place was like let's say a sharpening ground for me. So like a building ground for me to test the waters. So at least when you have the opportunity, see, and whenever you go for meetings, speak up. Is who talked in the meeting they'll remember. Even if it's your rubbish, but ensure that your rubbish has sense. Like, just ensure that you speak up. Like, okay, they didn't just employ you to come and warm chair. Oh, we can do this. Even if any people will look at you, but still say something, right? So beyond being an accountant, you can be the CFO of the company. And CFO is not even, you're not more posting again. As a CFO, you're looking for money now for how the business will be better. So think of initiative outside finance. Even maybe while you were doing something, you notice that our admin expense has been shooting up like over 50% month on month. What can we do to reduce it? Maybe we'll stop the facility company we are using and we'll employ an admin person to come and be helping us to manage. Like, just think of things outside the box. Like, just think of things. Don't be business minded. Yes. So the man will know that, this 250K I'm paying you, it makes sense. So I'm not, they'll not be saying it's not just posting you are doing.
Exactly.
It's we accountants actually, because when we are done with the posting, we just end there. And it's our managers that prepare the financial statement and all, and they're even the ones that does the high level things. So at least you can also be valuable. If you cannot talk to management, you can be valuable to your finance manager, your line manager. That, oh boss, okay, this is what I observe. What can we from entering transactions and being an accountant in the company?
I mean, you spoke about every single thing, every single, you touched on all sides. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
The question 11 is, why should we hire you as our accountants?
Oh my God, this is the last thing. This is your last impression that you can make on them.
Yeah.
So I believe that my experience, my certifications make me a worthy person for this role. And my experience over the years, like now, this is where you now start talking about the JD of the role. Okay, so I observe on the JD that the job description of this role that I'll be doing financial models, I'll be doing data analysis, and I've upskilled myself to ensure that I can do these things. I did it at my previous workplace. I was building models. I was using Power BI. I was doing data visualization. I can use SQL to a point. Like, this is where you just blow your trumpet, because sometimes even if you're applying for accountant, when they say I can do data analysis, all those things, they can even put you as probably a financial analyst over a financial accountant. And we know that a financial analyst earn more than accountant, basically. So shoot your shot here at this point. See, this is where they always say over deliver during interviews. Over deliver. Like, just this is the best place for you to position yourself. Like, this will determine how much value they will place on you too, because if you've told them all the things you've been doing. So I remember this time when I went for my last interview before I got this job. I think there was something I mentioned. I mentioned CFI. So it was after I resumed. My guy was not saying, "Is it CFA?" I said, it was CFI. But luckily for me, my group controller knows CFI. So I told her that I took some courses on CFI. I don't even know how you think. Okay, I told her that I had interest in corporate finance and I've been taking courses in CFI. So she knew CFI. And I didn't even know that she used to advise accountants to go and take the course. I just told her.
Yeah,
that's CFI, part of blowing your trumpet. You never can tell. So now when I resumed, my line manager was now asking me that, what did I tell GC? This CFI or CFA? I said it was CFI. I told her that I've not started my CFA yet. Or like, just say what you are doing. I just attended one webinar, and I feel that it should help me in this process that was listed on the job description. You know that you've done your own work, and you also learn about the company that, okay, I noticed that you guys have been having challenges in this. Just do your research and ensure that you're just bringing value to the company, basically, and they'll pay you for the value that they perceive from you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for that.
I repeated 2 questions. Okay, so I think I just okay. This is the last question.
What's the salary range for a fresh graduate accountant that is chartered without experience?
Okay, I think Perpetua already discussed this, that for accounting roles, experience beats certification. They always say this thing. Experience beats certification for lunch or dinner, basically. Like, experience goes a long way. Like, one thing with accounting is that they don't want to start training, because even the people that will train don't know the accounting standard. Except if you have a very sound CFO or a sound manager that has your time. Most people just want you to come in, enter the department and start working. Yes, so they don't want to start training you and doing, though there's a place of training. So what you can do is you're skilling up. Check the JD, like if you fall back to what I said earlier. Check the JD, what can you do or what can you seemingly do? Then tell them you're skilling up, you're staying abreast. Like, just tell them, like, just upskill yourself. Like, tell them that you've been upskilling yourself. But for an accountant that does not have experience, I wrote 250K a year per month, but I don't know company will pay that amount. I'm sorry, but you don't have the experience, right? So most times, most people will advise you to start with an audit firm to gain the required experience. And we know those peanut audit firms, they can be giving chartered accountant 40K, but I feel the least chartered accountant should collect based on, without experience, should nothing less than 200 net. Because getting that certificate is not easy, but also you should also position yourself to be a very value-adding person. Like, okay, aside the certification, I've learned this. So one thing I usually advise people to do is, one thing I'm grateful for is I started ICANN in school, but I couldn't finish because of financial challenges. So I was now lucky to be, as I was working, I was doing my ICANN. So I was able to see the practicality of IS2, IS2, like the IS we are using at a point. This IS on, is it 18 on benefits?
IS 19.
Yes, this employee benefit. Yes, on employee benefit. So myself when I gave me that assignment that we want to start paying pension and everything. How does IS 19 apply to? Hey, I read IS 19. This did not add up. I told her that since not started it, I'm not getting the practicality of this thing. So it was recent when I started working with companies that we're now doing it practically, and I saw that, okay. This is what this thing meant. So there's I always advise, but I know it's not easy, but it would be nice to do your ICANN as you are working. It gives you these insights, like practicality into what you are doing. Because when you say, what we are reading is not practical. What we are CSME, as this theory, people are applying it in the real world. So there's nothing in ICANN that is not PM, performance management is practical. Everything
It
is
is.
practical in ICANN. There's nothing that you say. Even there's nothing. I've not even seen the course. These are public sector, so I've not even seen the
Mm-hmm.
course that is not relatable. So you just tell them that okay, while you were doing your ICANN, you have the, and some companies may be lucky if they see that you are hungry for knowledge, you are hungry to work,
Mm-hmm.
they'll definitely employ. At least somebody gave all of us our first chance, even when we didn't have
Exactly.
anything, when we didn't know anything. So just ensure that you can sell yourself properly. You have confidence. Confidence goes a long way. Like even if you
Mm-hmm.
don't know anything, and you have that confidence. There's somebody that knows that does not have confidence at the interview. They'll pick you over the person.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think this
So
is
I
the
think
last question. Yeah, I
one thing
can
I
hear
want to add, I think one thing I
you.
want to add is that, sometimes when you see people and they tell you things like nobody wants to employ me because I don't have experience, sometimes that statement is true and is false,
It's
right?
true.
So I interviewed some accountant recently, right? And I was asking something like, so we're trying to recruit for a wellness company, and it's quite a small company. They don't have the luxury of having like a tax accountant, having a financial analyst, having a financial reporting. They just want one person that can wear all of those caps. Now I started interviewing people, and you see me asking, because tax is also a big deal. We want someone that can actually manage our tax,
To do
not like
everything,
we
even
now
if
have
you
to be
want to
paying a
keep
tax
the
consultant.
accountant.
Oh yeah, now I now started asking them like, can you use the Tax Pro Max portal? A large percent of them said they cannot use it, and I felt like that was not a good enough response. You know why? In today's world, I mean, people like myself, people like you, we are putting a lot of work to make sure that even though you don't have a job right now, you can have the knowledge of what we that were on the job, what we are doing.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
I
yeah,
have
yeah,
taken
yeah,
my
yeah.
time for free, did a
Hmm.
detailed course on everything you need to know about VAT filing. Like if you watch that YouTube tutorial, I mean, even though you've never done VAT in your life, you would have a full knowledge. Like if you go for an interview, it's a different thing when they ask you that can you use a tax program and you say no, I can't use it. When I start working, I'll start learning it. It shows you're serious.
No,
You
no,
can
no.
the best answer that you can give is
I
I've
took a
not really used
tutorial
it
on it.
practical, but
Yes,
I know every single thing about it. There's no question you want to
yes,
ask me about it that I
yes.
don't know.
Now,
I'm taking my time to learn it. Now, what they will do is, if I'm interviewed, I'll say, okay, you are sure, right? I will not ask
we
you,
have
how do you
tried.
file with tax
Mm,
program? And you answer, I asked you about VAT. You answer, you're good to go. So the problem sometimes is not the fact that you don't have experience, it's because you are lazy. You don't want to put in the
mm,
hard work. There are a lot of free resources.
yes.
Let's even say you don't have money to go for tutorials. There are a lot of free resources on the
On
internet that
YouTube.
shows you
Yeah.
practical things. Like, what I always tell people to do is, you're a young accountant, you want to get a job, get the JD of any of these new roles,
So we are
and look
applying
for
for
practical
now.
tutorials on each of those line items. Okay, you think they want you to prepare payroll, Abi? There are videos online on how to prepare payroll. Go and watch those videos. They will probably ask you how to create invoices, receivables management. Go and watch videos on those things, so that by the time you go for interviews and they're asking you a question, you might say, I may not have been opportune to really play with this thing in practical, but I have 100% knowledge of this thing. There is no question that you want to ask me that I do not know. It's a different ball game. So I mean, this is just me adding to what Oyindamola has said. It goes beyond, don't wait until you have experience. I mean, even we that we're on the job, it's not everything that we are doing.
We know.
It's not everything
Yeah.
you'll be doing in where you're working. You understand? We also take our time to watch tutorials, go for webinars, just to update our knowledge on those other parts that we're not doing where we are currently. So yeah, I think that is all.
Yeah, thank you, Perpetua. I did a list of other likely questions, so I'll share the slide with you, so we can share it
Okay.
with the house too as well.
All
So,
right. Thank you.
thank you for having me. Let me stop sharing.
Okay. No. Before you go. So
No, I'm not going yet. I just stopped. Or should I still leave my screen?
no. It's fine. It's fine.
All
It's
right.
fine.
Okay.
Okay, so before you go, I just wanted to say thank you so much once again. This has been very, very insightful. I mean, I know that we really can't thank you enough for like creating time out of your very busy schedule to do this for the community. So before you leave, do you have a last word for us? What is that last word that you give to every young accountant out there, someone that is actively job hunting? What do you have to say to them?
Okay, thank you so much for this question. For you that are job hunting, I've been in your shoes before. So I will not advise or tell you something I've never done before. See, in a week. So, okay, let me give the easy part to job hunting. There are two things I want to say as my closing remark. So the first part is network. I got this my job through networking, basically. So it makes when somebody refers you, it makes it faster than when you apply. So I'll talk about the hard part, the one I started before I started networking. So and once you're looking for a job, disturb people. So don't say you're disturbing people too much. There was an hangout I went with Iwelabi, Mr. Kudus, our mentor. He had a mentee hangout. So he said about how somebody kept disturbing Richard until he got the job. Like every day, boss, don't forget me. Good morning, how are you? Don't forget me. And I think that's what I did for Richard too. For someone, this my work is toxic. I won't come out. Please help me. But there was already a rapport already with him. Exactly. So I was not just coming to ask him. Right, I already had a rapport with him, like, boss, how are you? No, and I was not beating him for anything. Like I needed something then, but I already created that relationship, and based on the fact that him and Iwelabi were our mentors to them. So you enter the space that these people you are in. So like now I want to be close to Perpetua. What do? I join our group, I pay for our courses and so once you even have that close relationship with them, if Perpetua has maybe she has like an opening that like now the way she got this and the way she had interviews and all, and she knows that this person will be disturbing me, let me give you a shot.
Exactly.
Okay. But it's not that when they now give you the shot, definitely you'll be a person of value. You'll not spoil somebody's reputation there, right? So the next one is the hard part, which is the one I started with. Why the thing that bettered accounting job up. I can apply to God forgive me. I can apply to 10 companies in a day. So in a week, that's 50. So I remember late 2020s, I could get like 5 interviews in a week. It's just the ones that I didn't want to attend that probably at a point I knew it was even getting too much because I'll not be prepared. Like I was not reading, I was not updating myself or anything. So I usually come back dejected. So in 2021, when I wanted to leave, I think I got like 3 offers then because I was applying back. So those things to work, those vacancy links to they work, but you have to be very proactive about it. Like you have to say, like when you see people on LinkedIn, I don't argue or I don't say the person is lying. When I see people on LinkedIn that say they've sent out over 300 applications, it's true because I've done it. I went to check my mail one time and see please, dear HR, kindly.
Yeah.
So this thing you still know that looking for a job is a full time itself. If it's for you to quit something, at a point I have to pause cycle to focus on the job one thing. Because I know that the two, they are time demanding. So it's not that when you need to read, prepare, like you said, line by line, JD, take videos. So you need to watch videos. So you just need to commit time to it, basically.
Yeah.
Then that application, those vacancies, when they work too, I won't lie. But it's just that that's other routes compared to the networking route. You have to apply 10. See, you send me vacancy just now. I already have like a draft of what I'll just edit some things and edit the JD or do something. That minute I've sent it to the HR. Like that's how you must be passionate about you changing so most people are always laid back when it comes to changing your job. God will do it. I know God has done it, but He has also given you resources for all these things. Like before now, we have easy access. We have different communities we can join. Easy access to information that can liberate us. So don't just take all these things for granted. And my last advice would be, like what Perpetua said, skilling up, keep updating yourself. Like now, this evening, I think Iwelabi is doing an FRS, him and Temi, they are doing an FRS and S2, FRS S1 and S2. So those are little things relating to what they are doing, but at least these things build you up. When you go for interviews and you start talking, you don't know where the wealth of all this your talking comes from. It's because of the things, the knowledge you've accumulated over time.
Yeah.
So that's just my own advice. Keep skilling up, reskilling, upskilling, and getting a job is a full-time role on its own, but they don't pay you for it. It just doesn't come with payment.
No, it doesn't. Thank you so much once again, Oyindamola.
Thank
you. It's been very interesting having you on this session. Thank you so much.
You.
Please enjoy the rest of your day.
You too. And success in your next workshop.
Thank you as well. All right, take care. Bye.
Bye.
All right.